Welcome to Suite 303. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan. And on the show today, we are really excited because we have on all the way from Cleveland Clinic, Florida region, we have on Chief of Staff, Joe Iannotti. What a show this is going to be. Hang tight, and we'll be back with the Chief of Staff of the Cleveland Clinic, Florida Division, Joe Iannotti. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Only one in the hole?
There's only one in the hole.
30, looks like 3164 is the winner then.
31.
Hi, I'm Christopher Guzak from the Disability Channel, and we support persons with disabilities and veterans in media in conjunction with the Ontario government and our employment programs.
Welcome back to the show. Today on the show, we have from the Cleveland Clinic, Florida region, we have on Chief of Staff, Joe Iannotti. Joe, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Jay. Looking forward to the talk.
We know you have such a busy schedule, so we really appreciate you taking out the time of your busy day to spend it with us, the Disability Channel. Thanks again.
Pleasure's mine, Jay.
So let's talk a little bit about your title, Chief of Staff, and let's roll it into the Cleveland Clinic and tell us a little bit of your day-to-day operations at the Cleveland Clinic, Joe, and then we can talk further about the Cleveland Clinic and the millions of people that you guys support and help daily.
Well, the Cleveland Clinic has many different parts of its health system, some in the U.S., some abroad. Cleveland Clinic, Florida is 5 hospitals, so my job as Chief of Staff is to oversee all clinical care activities at all of the hospitals, as well as all of our clinics and outpatient surgery centers. So the entire part of the Cleveland Clinic in Florida is under my oversight as it relates to clinical care.
Speaking of Florida in the Cleveland Clinic, you must have your hands full regarding the hurricane. I know it's not in Florida, but it was in Louisiana, so relatively close, of course, with COVID now. Can you tell us a little bit of some positive signs on what's going on with the COVID, or what your take on it down in Florida is, Joe, without getting negative, because there's so much negativity in the world today. We don't really need any added to it.
That's for sure. Well, as everybody knows, Florida, a lot of the southern states have been hit pretty hard with this third wave of COVID activity with the Delta variant. And so our hospitals here in Cleveland Clinic, Florida have been equally hit with having a lot of patients in the hospital. So we have about just over 1,000 beds within Cleveland Clinic, Florida, and we hit a point of having about 40% of those beds occupied by patients with COVID. So that's been a big strain, both in terms of taking care of those patients, as well as taking care of patients that need either surgery or hospitalization electively for non-COVID related activity. So we've managed it well. I mean, we've been prepared for that. Obviously, we had experience with dealing with the COVID pandemic in March of last year, April of last year, throughout 2020. So, you never quite get used to doing it. It's been a big stress on the caregivers, and particularly those in the ICUs and the emergency rooms and on the floors. But we've certainly learned a lot from 2020 in terms of how to manage it. The care that we're able to provide is much, much better now than it was back in the early experience in early 2020. We've learned what works, what doesn't work. The therapies we have are far better now than they were in the early go. Obviously, there's been an extra concern with the hurricane, or the potential for a hurricane. So those that were in Louisiana, I don't know if any of your viewers have watched television, but I'm sure they have. And there was a lot of difficulties in Louisiana in terms of those hospitals that were hit hardest with the hurricane in terms of what to do with those patients if they needed to be evacuated. Typically there are other hospitals that are less affected by the hurricane where you can transfer patients from one hospital to the other. But if they're all filled and they all have difficulty managing those patients because of their own census, then they're hard to transfer. So being in a hurricane area with COVID is sort of a double difficulty.
Well, I can't imagine like your industry, how hard it's been hit with the workers and of course the patients, because, forget COVID, you have everyday patients coming into the hospital that's sort of just on top of one another. It's just like, it must be really a lot of stress, a lot of pressure for your workers, your staff. So we commend you guys on, workers across the world on what the health system is doing for the general public. Let's talk a little bit about Cleveland Clinic. Now, I know you guys are like so big, a monster. So how many hospitals like around, or facilities, care facilities around America do you guys operate and sort out of?
Gosh, that's a great question. It's probably there are 14 or 15 in Ohio. There are 5 here in Florida. We have a facility, as you know, in Toronto.
Yep.
Not a hospital, but it's an outpatient facility, executive health program, which is very busy and does a lot of good work. We have a brain health, dementia type program in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I think all total,
quite a few,
20-ish, 20.
And do you guys all interact? Like, do you interact with the boss, like from California and vice versa? And
Yes. Yeah.
You do, eh?
Unlike other large health systems that operate somewhat independently from one another, except at the corporate level, we interact as a very integrated health system at every level, at every clinical area, every service line throughout the health system. And that includes the facilities that we have in London and in Abu Dhabi in the Middle East. So we're a very integrated health system, and that's to our benefit. In fact, we are stronger and better as a result of us sharing best practices, clinical results, clinical outcomes, services, personnel across the region. So it's not just a corporation where we're integrated just at the corporate business level. We're integrated across every level.
Well, and I know you guys you have a big focus on supporting the community you guys are in, just through interacting with your neighbors or volunteers or fundraisers. So I commend you on that too. I know you guys are really involved with supporting the community you're in, because those are your patients, right? They come and see you guys. So
yeah, they're our patients. We're often a large employer of the community. So giving back to the community is important. We're a not-for-profit health system. So again, giving back is part of being a not-for-profit organization.
And because we're up here in Canada, can you tell us a little bit, maybe that some people don't know about your Canadian outlet that you would like to share, that it might be benefit our community?
Yeah, we started it quite some time ago, probably, I would guess, more than 15 years ago. It's been an ongoing effort. As everyone in Canada knows, there's a national health system in Canada, which works well and does a lot of good work for the Canadian population. We serve sort of those patients and those corporations that look for out-of-network care. So we provide out-of-network care generally for executive health programs and wellness programs, rehabilitation programs, things that are not as easily covered through the National Health Service.
This is great, Joe. Why don't we take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and I'd like to talk to you about our connection through the US and Canada. And I want to talk about how you picked this profession about getting into the healthcare. I think it's amazing, and I know just from my own relatives and all that and people I know how tough a business it is. So I want to talk to you about that, but hold on, we'll be right back. You're watching Suite 303. We're on the show today with Chief of Staff Joe Iannotti from the Cleveland Clinic, Florida region. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
All about inclusion and really giving everyone a fair say.
Welcome to the Today Show. This is our flagship show. I am Unstoppable Tracy.
I am Zach Damon.
It is a pleasure to be here. I am excited. What is up?
We have a great show today.
Jay Stoyan here for the Disability Channel, the world's only inclusive channel for and by persons with disabilities.
Get ready to be inspired, everyone.
We have people watching from all over the world, but also all over Ontario.
We also take a concerted attention in the veterans community.
In moments of stress and trauma, we can get a hold of ourselves.
To help make a difference for people with disabilities, to show people how to love themselves or their disability.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me, giving this platform for myself and other people with disabilities.
Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this episode of the Disability Channel Detroit. Please tune in next time.
Welcome back to the show. You're watching Suite 303. On the show today, we have on Chief of Staff Joseph Iannotti from the Cleveland Clinic, Florida region. Joe, thanks so much for being on. It's just great talking to you, just finding out all about the great stuff that Cleveland Clinic does. Tell our viewers and myself how you picked this profession.
Well, it's interesting because I never thought to do much of anything else other than healthcare, and I can't honestly remember how that came about. It was just the way it ever was from elementary school to today. So, I never went through the childhood thinking I was going to be a policeman or a fireman, I came close at least to think, well, maybe I'll be an astronaut because I grew up in the 60s with, the
Buzz
big,
and all those guys?
The big moonshot, effort to land a man on the moon and the Apollo era and all that. So, I was enamored at one point thinking, well, I'd be a doctor and an astronaut. So I never really deviated from the doctor part. I was always interested in science. I was always interested in, helping people. And, so healthcare is kind of a good mix between science and discovery and helping people rather than just being a laboratory-based person. So
I find it amazing how many years doctors and people in your profession have to spend in school. Like, how many years did you go to school, Joe? Like, how many years were you in school for that?
I started kindergarten at age 4, and I finished when I was 30 some odd years old. So probably 30 years of education. I got a graduate degree, a PhD in cell biology after residency. So I finished in 87, and I was born in 54. So you could do the math.
There you go.
Yeah, probably 30 years of schooling.
And did you climb so how long have you been with Cleveland Clinic?
21 years.
21 years. And did you just, obviously you came in at the entry level like everybody else does. And then did you just climb the ladder and just went up there?
I was at the University of Pennsylvania for 20 years before I came here. So I've been in practice 37 years. I finished my med school in 79. So that was 41 years ago. I went to Penn, University of Penn for my residency, and then did my PhD work in cell biology there, and then I was on the faculty for 16 years. So when I came to Cleveland Clinic, I came as a full professor and chair of the Department of Orthopedics. So I didn't really come in at the entry level.
Okay. And how long have you been down in Florida now?
Just 2.5 years.
Oh, 2.5. You were in Cleveland before then, I
I
assume?
was in Cleveland for 18 years as
Yeah.
chair of orthopedics, and then institute chair for orthopedics and rheumatology. And then when I got to the ripe old age of 65 or 64, and say, what do I do next? The clinic sort of expanded its footprint here in Florida from 1 hospital to 5 hospitals. And so there was an opportunity to kind of help grow that and integrate 4 other hospitals up further north, where Weston Hospital is pretty south in South Florida. It's just west of Fort Lauderdale, and the hospitals we acquired were in Martin County, Port St. Lucie, and Indian River County. So they're about 120 miles from our northern end to our southern end.
Okay.
So that was a big opportunity, a big challenge to sort of go from 1 hospital to 5. And so I came down here to help them do that.
That's a lot. That's a lot of hospitals in one state. 5 hospitals. Wow. Like that seems like a lot, but Florida's a huge state, so maybe it's not.
Yeah, it's a huge state. I mean, it's the 3rd most populated state in the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's growing a lot. There are a lot of people that move.
No taxes.
North to south. Taxes are very favorable here.
Yeah.
Also because of tourism.
That's right.
So tourists, bring a lot of revenue to the state, and as such, they don't have city or state tax, which makes it favorable, particularly for those folks up north.
Joe, let me ask you this, because we have a lot of people who are very interested and very tied to the healthcare system because of the Disability Channel and what we do through our employment programs for persons with disabilities and veterans. But I know there's going to be a lot of people tuning in because they're big fans of the healthcare system. If people want to I have a lot of people who want to volunteer and just sort of support the community. And is there anything that you can sort of recommend to get involved in some type of healthcare volunteering mechanism, or because I have a lot of great people in my community that unfortunately are they're disabled and they can't do full-time jobs, but at the same time they want to get involved and they want to sort of have a purpose in life and give back. And is there anything here in Toronto, or maybe we can connect and maybe get my people supporting your hospital? Maybe like they have at like Walmart, like the Giver, like the greeters or something like that. I know with COVID now it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there are less of those opportunities, but COVID will pass like every other, infectious disease or pandemic. I mean, these don't stay forever. There might be another one some other year down the road, but this will pass. There are a lot of opportunities. I think people have to say, what are they passionate about? What do they connect most with? So there are lots of opportunities, and I think it's always best to pair the person or the individual that wants to volunteer with their passion or their interest. So if someone has had brain injury or has had a physical limitation relevant to maybe having a physical deformity or amputation, then I think those are the areas that they most relate to because they live it. And I think there are a lot of people either in the community or admitted to a hospital who are struggling with, those new problems that they may not have had. And having had or having access or talking to someone who's been there, done that, and has adapted well and has learned how to still be a viable, important, contributing person to the community, their families, and to themselves.
That's right, yeah, to themselves.
As soon as you have a disability or a limitation, particularly if it's not something you were born with, it's something you got as a result of an injury or a disease, your sense of self changes so quickly. And it takes time to adapt to that. It takes time to say, who am I now? What's my ability to contribute or to even be part of my family. And I think those struggles are big and they're hard. And some people adapt easier than others. So for those who struggle, and I think everybody struggles, having somebody to lean on who they can share their story is really, really important. And so there are a lot of help groups. Obviously, there are a lot of things you can do online.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes going physically to a hospital or to a work group or to some community activity is a great benefit. There's no question doctors who don't share the same disability, and most of them don't, can't provide. You could be empathetic, you could be helpful, you could do things to treat somebody as a physician, but it doesn't substitute for somebody who is a caregiver as a volunteer, as a person who knows it, lives it, dealt with it in the past.
That's terrific insight, Joe. Thank you so much for sharing. I just feel like you're just like a wealth of knowledge, wealth of experience. Just everything is just really, really, really great to hear. So I really thank you. Before we do let you go, if people want to find out more information about the Cleveland Clinic or yourself personally, where could they go, maybe?
Well, I'm accessible personally through the Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah.
It's easy to do.
Like not so much with you. I mean, like if people want to find out more information on a Cleveland Clinic, they could just go at
There's a great website.
Yeah.
Cleveland Clinic has a great website. It has a lot of medical information. If you just want to type in, a problem, there's just like anything else. There are a million websites out there for medical information. I think some of them, like those that are associated with a large health system like the Cleveland Clinic, the information is well screened, it's well vetted, it's reliable. And I think that's the best way to go. Obviously, if you have a specific area that you're interested in, you want to contact somebody for care or for advice or something like that, the website is capable of letting you make an appointment. You can make your own appointment online. You could set up a video visit, for a telehealth visit. So there's a lot of ways to access the Cleveland Clinic.
Well, I really want to thank you today, Joe. If you want to hang on just for a sec, I just want to mention that we do have a strong connection. Peter Evans, my cousin, who was a doctor up here in Toronto. Now he works down at the Cleveland Clinic, works for Joe actually in the Cleveland Clinic. He's the one that connected us, and I can't thank him enough. I'm also friends now with Joe's son. So, Joe, I really thank you for supporting the channel, for letting me come in your door, for coming on the show today, for just sharing your knowledge and your experience with our team and our viewers. I really appreciate that. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back and wrap the show. So stay tuned. You're watching Sweet 303. We want to thank Chief of Staff Joe Iannotti for being on today. Joe, thanks again. Hang tight. We'll be right back.
Hello world, it is Unstoppable Tracy with the Disability Channel inviting you to subscribe and watch live on Roku TV, on YouTube, on Restream, and also listen in Wisconsin Radio, Dave Stevens, all around the world. And on top of all of this, really proud to announce that we now also have a mobile app. So you can download for free, watch Roku TV for free, and the mobile app is free too from Google Drive. Be sure to download it and have it at your fingertips at all times. There's a job platform, and there's a live chat feature, and there's the TV feature with Roku TV, and there's also the social media channels. Take care, folks. Bye for now.
Hi, everyone. I am Master Sergeant Retired Anna Maria Blithen, and privileged to be the host of Veterans Onward to Prosperity. Each episode brings you more information, sources, and resources by which you can manage your life, live a life, and thrive in your life. So stay tuned to all of our episodes and be the best you can be.
right, Jay Stoyan here for Suite 303. What a show today. Thanks for tuning in. We had on Chief of Staff from the Cleveland Clinic, Joe Iannotti. Great information, great dialogue, great banter, a great man. So again, if people want to find out more information about the Cleveland Clinic, either in Canada or the USA, just go to Cleveland Clinic, and I'm sure they'll take care of you. Again, you're watching Suite 303. I'm Jay Stoyan. We'll see you next time.